So Gideon, what did he do? He was in a cave. God said, you're a mighty man of valor. I don't want you living in the cave. You don't have to just survive. I've got something far more for you. Go and deliver Israel. So he presses through his excuses, and now the next thing we see him doing is what? Building an altar. Everybody say action. He could have sat in the cave all day long and quoted what God said to him, and it would never have become reality. But he gets out and begins to do something. He built an altar to the Lord, and there he called it the Lord is peace. That's where we get our phrase Jehovah Shalom from. To this day it stands in Ophrah of the Abiezite writes, the same night the Lord said to him, take the second bull from your father's herd, the one 7 years old. So now God's giving him some more instructions, something to do, okay? Tear down, that's action. Would you agree? Okay. Get out of the cave, do something, tear down your father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. Then build, there's another action, build a proper kind of altar to the Lord your God on the top of this height, using the wood of the Asherah pole that you cut down. Offer the second bull as a burnt offering. That's action, okay? Now notice what else. So Gideon took 10 of his servants and called a committee together and discussed the idea as to whether it was really a good thing to do or not. No. So Gideon took 10 of his servants and did as the Lord told him, because he was afraid of his family and the townspeople. He did it at night rather than the day. The good news is he did it, but he did it afraid. You know, sometimes you just got to do stuff afraid, okay? You're not going to always have the greatest courage in the world, but he was still afraid. He didn't know what his dad was going to do to him, but he made the decision. I'm going to do this anyway. See what's happening. Here's what I want you to see. So many things in this story, but I want you to see that Gideon's thinking was changing. The Gideon we first meet in the cave is now beginning to be a different Gideon that we're seeing now taking some action. Why? Because he's thinking differently. And what has caused him to think differently? God showed up in his life and inspired him and gave him something to expect for his future. And Gideon said, okay, I've got to get my excuses out and get my excuses out of the way. I've got to make this personal belief that this really can happen in my life, that my life doesn't have to stay this way and the nation's life doesn't have to stay this way. And then he had to get up and start doing something different than he'd ever done before. He had to do some things. He had to actually be motivated to action.